So what we're going to do now is do vehicle ambush survival. And I'm going to talk from out here, but inside here we have Gil. So I'm going to open up the door. And over here, we have our hostile. We have Justin there, and he's with an assault rifle, but of course it's shooting foam darts. All right, so let's just say you're driving down the freeway, highway, a road, whatever the case may be, and someone fires some rounds into your front windshield. Now, obviously for this camera and the demonstration, we're extremely close up, but with a rifle, he could be a few hundred meters away. So we're gonna demonstrate it normal speed. He's gonna fire at the windshield. We're gonna see what Gil does, and then we're gonna take it step by step. Now I'm gonna leave the door open just so you can see inside, but imagine it's closed, windows up. All right, so he's starting. And pick up and drive. All right. So I'm gonna get low here, and I'll walk it through. You got a good view? All right. So Gil is just driving along, and either he might see a gunman, maybe over a bridge overpass or something. That'd be great if you had some advance warning. Or you just simply get rounds through the windshield, and that could happen. You don't know where it's coming from, but you know it came from somewhere in the front because you have some holes in the windshield. All right, so the first thing you've got to do when you realize you're being shot at is he put his left knee against the steering wheel. That's going to brace it, and then he keeps a hold at about the 11 o'clock on the steering wheel, and he's going to be disciplined and not move that. Then he's going to duck down as far as he can to his right. Now, obviously, he's now below the dashboard, so any rounds coming through that windshield obviously is going to go over the top of his head and miss him. Now, if they do happen to come through the vehicle, you have the engine block in front, you have the dashboard, and hopefully all that material will stop it. Now, go back down. Now, all he has to do is drive maybe 50 meters, 70 meters at most to get out of the kill zone. He does a quick peek, he looks up, he sees it's clear and gets back, and now he just goes on driving. So that is the technique that you need to do. Now, I'm gonna sit in the car with him. All right, what about if he has a passenger? And of course, your passenger most likely doesn't know what to do. They'll just freak out when these rounds come through the windshield. So at this moment, our bad guy fires at the windshield. Boom, round came. Now he's gonna go down first, and he's gonna reach around, grab the back of my neck, and push me down. That's as much as he can do. Then he looks up, he sees the coast is clear, let's go, and we go. So when you're doing this, you have to think about yourself first, just like if you were in an airplane and the oxygen mask comes first. They always say, put on your mask, then put the child's mask on. Same thing in this situation. This could be a spouse, this could be a diplomat, this could be just a friend, a coworker, but he went down, he protected himself, reached up, hooked his hand around my neck, and pulled me down. Now, I felt the pressure go down, but he kind of leaned me a little sideways too, which is good because I don't want my head hitting this dashboard. The very fact that he got me down could save my life. All right, now one more thing too is the glass. When you have a front windshield glass, you're gonna get what's called spall. little shreds or pieces of glass coming in. And of course, if you're going fast in the vehicle, the wind's pushing it too, so you're going to get that. Now, obviously, you can't predict when an attack is going to happen, but if you have any kind of warning at all, or you're in the military or you're on patrol as a law enforcement officer, when I was, for both the military and for police, I always wore at nighttime clear wraparound ballistic glasses, even when I answered calls, but definitely in the car. Because if someone starts shooting, I don't want to be blinded and forever with these shards of glass. Now, obviously, if in the daytime, if you have your sunglasses on, great. But if it's a dark gray day, switch it out with the clear wraparound glasses. All right, this represents a bullet. This is the bullet, whether it's hollow point or ball. Let's just, and I want it big for exaggeration, but let's say this bullet is hitting the windshield. All right, which way is the bullet going to deflect? Is it going to go downwards or upwards? This is where ballistics comes in. And I've had an opportunity to shoot through a lot of vehicle glass with the Marines, also for SWAT. And so I know from experience, but I also know from ballistic studies that bullets, when they hit glass, they go downwards. That's right. Everything hitting a front windshield is going to go down. Now, why is that? First of all, when this bullet hits the glass, where's the first place that makes impact? Well, it's this bottom edge, the leading edge. So what happens is it slows down on the bottom and it's still high velocity on top, or subsonic, and you have low pressure, you have high pressure. And what that does is it instantly redirects it downwards. There's a reason why in law enforcement they call a police or a deputy car, whatever your agency may be, they call it a death trap. And that's because everything going through this front windshield is going down into your chest and lap. So that's exactly why when this hits, he ducked down, and Gil ducked down and he always goes as low as possible. Hopefully it can't go too much farther, because obviously he's down low enough that it goes over to his top and into the seat. Now, let's say we're show Justin again here. We have a bad guy. Now, let's just say, for the sake of argument, this is not the freeway. Maybe he is in a parked vehicle. This guy jumps up, or maybe he just started his vehicle. He has obviously a hostile shooting in. Well, now if he is an armed police officer, or if you're an armed citizen, now I'm going to give him this gun. So Gil has the gun here. And he obviously is getting shot at, but he ducks down. He wants to shoot back at the bad guy, but before he gets up, he puts a few rounds inside of the glass in front of him. And he fired. Now he sticks it in the hole, the muzzle, and now he fires at him. So he could, now come up, Gil, just fire at him now. Now he could start firing right through the windshield, but now because we're going the opposite direction, which way is it going to go? Well, because it hits this edge first, his rounds are going to go up. So any of your rounds being fired outside of the vehicle through the windshield is going to go upwards. Well, if you're aiming center mass, it's potential that they all go over his head. So if you do shoot through the window several rounds, shoot low at the base of the window, and hopefully it goes center mass. Now, when he ducked down and he didn't want to come up right away, he fired 2 or 3 rounds from there, and he weakened the glass and he created a big hole. Well, now that he has a big enough hole, he can shove the muzzle in, and now he doesn't have any glass obstruction at all. Now, I've actually done this on a live fire range where I've sat in the seat shooting out the glass. Little freaky at first because that whole stuff is breaking in front of you. Of course, face protection and everything. But once you get used to it, not so bad, and you learn to do it. And if you ever have the opportunity, it would be great because now it's muscle memory and you've learned that you can trust your technique. All right. Now, what about the side glass? Now, the front windshield has layers of plastic in it, and it always spider webs. That's for traffic accidents. This is going to stay intact. Even if you fire a machine gun in there, it's just going to have a bunch of holes. On the other hand, the side glass, the passenger back, the driver's side, and also the back windshield is safety glass. So what that means is when a bullet hits it, no matter what angle, it's going to break up into little teeny chunks and just collapse. So that's so if someone's in a car accident or if they need to escape from the vehicle, they can kick it out, break it, and it all crumbles. So that you have different materials. Well, because there's very little angle to this, now a front windshield's always going to have at least a 45-degree angle and maybe even more, but side windshields are almost perpendicular, 90 degrees. So what does that mean? That means virtually zero deflection. Wherever the bullet's coming in, it's going to go into a straight line. Well, he still needs to do the same thing. So if it's coming in the side, he leans down. He still drives a few, maybe 50 to 60, 70 meters away. And once he's out of the kill zone, he gets up and starts driving again. So you may not see, especially now, because you don't have, this is coming from the side, or suddenly your rear window gets blown out. All you hear is a crack, bunch of glass falling down. All right, you just got to assume someone's shooting in it and you get down. So that's the great thing about this technique is no matter what angle they're shooting at you, you just get down, get out of the kill zone and keep going. All right, now I'll be talking about some instructor stuff on the next one and we'll build on this. So we're simulating we have a Molotov cocktail. This is petroleum, and there's a little bit of air at the top. We have a rag that is the wick. There's a knot, maybe it's tape, and then this drenched petroleum rag is lit on fire and it's tossed. So Gil is going to pretend he's driving. The windows are down. And all of a sudden, some guy, as he's passing, throws a Molotov cocktail. The front end bursts into flames. And Gil, do what you have to do. And a little too soon. So get back in. Now, he's got the right idea, but we have to explain it because the car's not in motion. So we're going to take it step by step. So here's what happened. Grab your Molotov cocktail. All right, so I'm going to open up this so you can see it a little bit better. All right, so basically on the left side of his vehicle, the Molotov cocktail burst open in flames, the bottle broke. Now, what you didn't see is as he's driving and he realized his car's on fire in the front, he instantly put the windows up. So simulate putting the windows up. All the windows are coming up. We obviously don't want any smoke coming in. The next thing he did was he closed the vents. Any air conditioning coming in, any heater, he closed them. Now, the problem is he can't see outside the windshield. Maybe it's completely engulfed in flames, maybe partially, but he ended up putting on the windshield wipers because he couldn't see. So they're going back and forth. And he's trying to spread it out. Now, again, he's doing something you can't see, and he was accelerating. Once he saw the burst of flames, he floored it. He pressed that gas pedal. He's trying to blow it all out. It might do it, it might not. You don't know. But he did everything he could to prevent the smoke and the flames from coming in. Now, if he can't see, because it's still obstructed vision, he looks out the side of his window and he totally guides himself by looking at the street below or cars parked or the edge of the road, and he guides himself just enough to get out of the kill zone. And that, again, now it's not like the rifle kill zone. You may have a mob of people throwing and tossing stuff. So once you get past, you know, a couple 100 meters past the bad guys. Now, in this case, the reason why he bailed out of the car, and Justin's already out, he's past the kill zone, is he bails out of the car now, so bail out. He grabbed a fire extinguisher. You should always have within reach a fire extinguisher. So he's sweeping, he's putting it out. And now, obviously, if it goes out, he hops back in and gets out of there. But there comes a moment that if it doesn't go out, you grab your go bag, you grab what you need, and you got to just abandon the vehicle. Because sometimes this paint will continue to burn, and especially tires. They're notorious for, once they catch fire, they don't go out. Now, Gil was once a deputy sheriff with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, so he's had much patrol and stuff. But let's say, Gil, you're doing a felony car stop. So I'm going to give you your code.
I have it.
Oh, you have one?
Yes.
All right. Show me how you would do a felony car stop. So get out and draw your gun on him. There you go. All right. So what's typical is, and I'll use this side here, is the V of the door is good protection at first. If there's an ambush, you may have to quickly get out, return fire. But again, it has its limits because bullets can go through this car door like tissue paper. Now, if it's a handgun bullet, maybe the mechanism in there, the glass, might stop a handgun round. But if they're firing with an assault rifle, it's going to go through this like tissue paper. So the next move is, if he realizes this is not good protection and doesn't have an upper hand, he now moves to the rear of the vehicle. All right. So he goes back. Maybe his partner goes back. Now, if I go to a kneeling position, he goes to a kneeling. We have the back tire. We also have all this metal between the nose and the rear where we have protection. So you may have, now, even if I'm not an armed police officer, I may have to come back after the ambush. And what's my goal? If they're still shooting at me, I got to look for better cover. I got to see what's back there and obviously use this by running low, but I want to get to someplace that's safer. We're going to quickly talk about where you now, let's say for the sake of argument, we have Justin on the other side. And just to see that the hostile on the other side. Now, he obviously is being represented by 100 meters, 200 meters, whatever the case may be. But he's shooting in this direction. Well, if Gil's in the rear of the vehicle, getting behind this wheel is the best cover, all right? And you also have the frame to help block some of the rounds. Now, there's been enough studies that bullets going through gas tanks is not going to blow it up. It's not a Hollywood movie. Bullets going through gas tanks is just going to puncture it. You're going to get leakage, and that's about it. So don't worry about the gas tank. The middle is the absolute worst place to take cover behind a vehicle. And that's because, again, doors are too thin. Bullets could go through, and definitely supersonic bullets from rifles. Plus, you could get skip rounds. They skip on the bottom, just like you would throw a stone on a smooth pond or lake. It's going to skip. Well, the same thing, the bullets could skip under the car and catch his ankles. And next thing you know, it's going to catch his body when he falls. So the best place to be, if you can, is behind an engine block and behind the wheel. And now even a rifle is not going to go through this engine block unless it's like a 50 caliber. But he also has the brakes. He also has the tire. Lots of protection here. All right, so you're good.